be clear on this. I have not lost my mind. I am not crazy. I'm not being blackmailed, ransomed, or even paid off by Activision themselves. I haven't hit my head on anything, suddenly come down with amnesia. I haven't hung out with a YouTube auditor telling him to go fuck himself. I'm perfectly normal, rational, and healthy. So don't think I've gone off the deep end here. But Activision, can you please hurry the fuck up and release a remastered version of Modern Warfare? Yes, I am serious as shit and practically telling Activision to rip us off for something we probably already have. But trust me, I'm not that fucking crazy. Now, the gameplay in the background comes from Dirty Dan, and I really hope that name is because your playstyle is dirty and it's not that you don't wash your damn self. But anyway, getting back into this shit, Call of Duty 4 was a fucking masterpiece. It was, and to this day, still the pinnacle of how to make a video game when it comes to Call of Duty. Not Black Ops 2, not Call of Duty 1, certainly not fucking World at War, but Call of Duty 4. And with today's idea of remaking and remastering old games and getting people to pay money for shit we already paid for a few years ago, this is a brilliant idea. Now, I will be the first one to say this, but I have yet to buy a remastered game, although my wallet was very close a few times, namely in the Final Fantasy games. I mean, seriously, I was this fucking close to getting Final Fantasy VII once they released the HD version of that shit as a downloadable. Oh man, I'll tell you right the fuck now, that shit was in my PlayStation Store cart and I just needed to press the button to say pay for that motherfucker and I would have had that shit, but in the end I didn't buy that motherfucker. But other than that, I have yet to buy a remastered version of any game. Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto, amazing games, you name it. But my logic is that if I have it on my older console and my console still works and I still have the game, why the fuck would I pay for more money to have it on the newer console? Doesn't make any fucking financial sense. So I have never done it. But in the case of Call of Duty 4, I think I would break on that one if it's done right. It has to be done in a way that preserves the content of the original and fixes the issue the game had all those years ago when we played it and we loved it. And of course, I have a list of demands for Activision on how to fix that motherfucker. Now, I'll be honest, my preference would be to only make a Call of Duty 4 remake. However, I would be open to Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 being packaged together on one Modern Warfare trilogy pack or whatever the fuck you want to call that shit. And it's not because those games are fantastic, but because remastering just one game from almost 10 years ago and charging full price is absolute bullshit. So, the other two can hop in the backpack to give me some value out that bitch. But, other than adding those two, here's what I would want. The campaign from Call of Duty 4 just really needs to be graphically improved. That's all. For the most part, most games are doing that, upgrading the graphics, remastering it, making it HD, whatever the fuck it is. But Call of Duty 4 had an excellent and logical campaign compared to all the bullshit that's been released over the years, and it still stands the test of time when it comes to quality. The only minor tweak I would make to the campaign itself would be to remove that clown car AI the game had. Oh, fucking shit, man. Unless you advanced to a certain point, enemies kept popping up no matter what you did. If you didn't move that magical checkpoint, another enemy would spawn in the same fucking place. To me, that shit is a sign of age of the game because most games had an enemy system very similar to that during those years. If you don't get to that magical checkpoint, enemies are going to continue to filter out and you have to kill those bitches all over again. Fuck that shit. In today's games, we do not have that, and we would need to tweak that shit just a little bit to stand up to current times. Instead of having to reach that magical checkpoint, obviously have a finite number of enemies that you need to kill in this motherfucker. But the big thing that people obviously want is multiplayer. Now, I'm going to break this down into two parts. What would happen if they were to just release a Call of Duty 4 remaster, and what would happen if the three games were all in one pack and what that could look like? First of all, if you're going to remaster Call of Duty 4, it has to get some of our modern upgrades we've seen in some recent Call of Duty games. I'd keep all the guns, I'd keep all the challenges, I wouldn't alter that in any way in all the years we had that shit to go. However, the guns behaved perfectly all those years ago, and out of all the games in the series, Call of Duty 4 had the least issues when it came to weapon balance. Sure, there were some high quality guns compared to some of the crap ass guns, you know, like the M16 and shit, but it was nothing like the ACR from Modern Warfare 2 or the FAMAS from Black Ops 1, but we need some modern amenities. Extra classes for prestiging would be nice. Having the ability to have more than 5 loadouts was a great addition after the Call of Duty 4 series. One of the few things I give credit for when they introduced that in World at War. That's something that I would say about 99.9% of players would agree is a decent addition. Now, the kill streaks would also need to be touched up a bit. And fixing the glitch where if you die and then call in a chopper, those kills would count towards your next kill streak. No, that shit has got to change. I know people like it. Shit, I abuse the living fuck out of that mechanic, but I like the simple concept of 357, but you have to tweak that shit, because if you look at all the other games that happened after Call of Duty 4, every single one of those removed that perk where if you die, your kill streak that you earned in the prior life would count towards your next kill streaks. Everybody got rid of that. As for the biggest changes that would make, the game needs to remove the shitty perks. I don't care how much of a part of the game it was. I don't care how much of the character it was. I don't care if that's what really defined Call of Duty 4, even with all the frustration, how funny that shit was. But looking back, Last Stand, Martyrdom, Juggernaut, and even to a certain extent, Stopping Power should be removed from the game. These are relics of the past. They've been removed from the current generation of Call of Duty games because they needed to be changed. And getting them out of the source material is going to improve the game. Instead, they could be replaced by items that we've seen in newer versions of the game. Perks like Quick Draw that allow you to aim quicker, Stalker where you can move quicker while aiming down sights, maybe Flak Jacket since we still have Sonic Boom in the game, or the ability not to take damage from a fall, or Lightweight, the ability to move faster. There are a number of things that could have been added to Call of Duty over the years that could replace the old perks in the remaster, which is exactly what fans wanted years ago when the game was active. Of course, all the old maps would return, including the DLC ones. All the game modes would return, but I would really keep that to a bare minimum. I mean, shit, nobody played like Sabotage. That shit was always fucking empty, man. Keep it simple and return to the standard game modes. Domination, Team Deathmatch, Free-for-all, Search and Destroy, Hardcore modes. I wouldn't add new game modes to the game if they weren't originally in the motherfucker, so obviously no Demolition, Crank, Kill, Confirm, and shit like that. I would just keep it to what we had in the original. All of these things could make for a quality game. However, I would have an issue paying $60 for this shit. I would have an issue paying $30 for this shit. Because none of this shit is new, and my PlayStation 3 still works. I can fire that motherfucker up no time and still play Call of Duty 4 if I wanted to. So that's why I would be open to the idea of Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 being added to the game. Now, much like Call of Duty 4, the games need some tweaks. Man, do they need some tweaks. But here's how I would work all three games into one package. The campaigns obviously wouldn't be touched for content. Keep the story as bullshit as they were, but keep the mechanics, remove the clown car syndrome of enemies, and basically retouch the graphic. That's all. For all three games, it's not going to be a major deal. But for multiplayer, this is where shit hits the fan. First of all, you have to realize, if Activision is going to add all three games to a disc, they're not going to change much content. Matter of fact, what they're probably going to do is just take all the shit that occurred in those games, errors and all, glitches and all, problems and all, and put them onto the major disc. They're not going to fix anything. They're not going to take out Martyrdom. They're not going to take out Death Streaks. They're not going to take out that issue with the chopper that I mentioned before. If it was in the game before, it's going to be in the game now because they have no intention of fixing that shit out. So unlike my idea of a Call of Duty 4 remastered with fixes to the game, if you were to have all three added to the game, I highly doubt we would see any of the old bullshit removed. However, when you put all three together, I would want the option of which play style do you want. Do you want to play the Call of Duty 4 style? Do you want to play Modern Warfare 2 style? Do you want to play Modern Warfare 3 style? Each one will have its own rank up system. Each one will have its own characters. If you select Call of Duty 4, you will be playing the Call of Duty 4 version of the game with all of its guns and shit like that. If you select Modern Warfare 2, you'll be playing the Modern Warfare 2 version of the game. Sounds legit, right? Sounds exactly like something you would see, except here's what I would do so you can see how you meld all three together. In all three games, we would have about 5 prestige levels for a grand total of 15 prestiges. Well, 18 if you include the initial character that you have to rank up. And although each game was condensed from their original prestiges, you would get all the new custom class slots. Each time you prestige, you get a brand new one. So you have all the Call of Duty 4 classes, Modern Warfare 2 classes, Modern Warfare 3, with their specific games, guns, and perks. But here's where shit would hit the fan. Whether you pick Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, every map will be playable in every single mode. You heard that right. Every single fucking map is available across all the platforms. You can play Shipment with a Modern Warfare 3 loadout. You can play Wasteland with Call of Duty 4 style. Everything, top to bottom, will be available in those game modes. Obviously, if you selected to play Modern Warfare 2, you would only match up against people who also elected to play Modern Warfare 2 and have Modern Warfare 2 loadouts, so there's going to be no crossover. It's not like you pick Call of Duty 4 and you're going to get Call of Duty 4 perks and then you're going to face someone in Modern Warfare 2 and they're going to get like an AC-130. No. Only thing that's going to be shared are the maps. Every single map will be shared in the game. So just imagine Shipment with an AC-130. Oh, motherfucker, I can only imagine. I will have wet dreams about that alone. But tying all those maps together is going to allow you to tie all 3 different versions of the game together. So now obviously this would take a hell of a lot of programming, but essentially it's the only way to combine all these games to fit into one game. Otherwise, you still just have a version of Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Essentially, you would have 3 different games. I don't want it to be 3 different games on one disc. I want it to be 3 different games coming together on one disc to make it feel like one full product. Activision, listen to me on this one. This would be a gold mine. All the shit that's been released since maybe, let's say, Modern Warfare 2 has had its issues. Black Ops 2 was maybe the other decent game that a lot of people enjoyed, but let's be honest right now, Ghost wasn't that good. Advanced Warfare sales were terrible. The hype for Black Ops 3 is virtually null and void. If you want people to come back to Call of Duty, give them what we've been asking for all these years. A remastered version of your top-notch games. Obviously not Modern Warfare 3. But Call of Duty 4 and the fucking fun that Modern Warfare 2 had with all of its bullshit, that would be a game that people would go back and play. Remaster everything and put it on the brand new consoles, and I will guarantee you that would be another 20 million units in sales easily. People love those games, and this is the way you go back and give it to all your fans and show that you really care. Anyways, I told you guys I wasn't crazy, but I do want a remastered motherfucker. Anyways, that does it for this video. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all the good shit, and I'll see you guys in the next video.